it'll just have to be probably a more direct game, really. But the conditions will change the whole dynamic of the game if it goes ahead. And look, it looks like now, to be fair, that it will. But look, we will just have to adapt. Both teams will have to gear up and change their thinking a little bit towards their tactics and stuff and how they're going to shift the ball around. But like these lads are used to playing in all sorts of conditions, so we'd be confident enough.
In fairness to both teams, I suppose we wouldn't have excelled at minor level, you know, which is obviously peculiar for Tip and Cork situation. But both teams have come on in leaps and bounds, and you know, the team I've been involved with here, you know, are a very honest bunch, and you know, very ambitious as well, and keen to do well. So I think, you know, it's going to be tipsy-turvy again, and hopefully that the elements won't, you know, interfere, and that we will have a great game of hurling.
Carcador, okay, well, tá an fork.
An chréibh sa agus fán ceartar bú eile gáilte chorcaig ag an rád sa mar sin deisian sa ag an lechúlaí láir seoltaisteach go deasan san agus í chu a hairse drastáin ag Christopher Joyce ó chuman na bhíorsach.
Búil sin ceann go híontacha ar fadar bhriain fuair sin deis agus an chéad scóir sin de Corcaig an sin ó Christopher Joyce.
Ceann réasúnta bog agus ní chuir sé sin an bhaigh féin spéidir. Ach ní léon leis go caileáin ar seo agus í búilte íseal crúig a chun bhartíanta ige ó Dwyer as tá sé de chláir a sco. Kevin Kavanagh ó Chargaláin agus bhfuil ar a líad be sé a món scrúda haimeid na máireach ach anna bhfuil do hénig go le bhfuil meach tre seocht neomh. Is poc amach díomhhaid a ríiste ag Corcaig an son agus iad a Cork at Sunnistig, fachta go deasan sa de Corcaig ge Cronin. Fear a bhfuil creibh na mún feh línas féilis de Peladóri im líana. Dianta go maith ríiste mach go dí drécan sa. Slí dianta ge sin chun cumán a lúsca agus anna fáinte ar fad a ge fear Chargaláin an son ach obair ge Cronin an Peladóri chun sin a chrothú.
Rinne Cronin ard obair an sin obair na gapel mar deirtar agus déirigh leis an pas sin a choláthir amach an sin do a dréch agus an chéad scór an immer ceann an chrín anna yes ar fad. Cúlín álinn.
Ach bhís ar aní slú echo heh scórála gine bhaile nó hen drum a gréibh na mún an son rábhlíonn nó beir bhfuil 3 bliain na héanú níos agus is go maith caid na cúlaí ach an lechúlaí láir eile láthir na huair de Corcaig Joyce steach a Jamie Collin agus is cinnte greibh Grain Berhan sanna ar siúd ige pá Ryanach scaoilte thar sé an moltóir agus an háidir leis na lapaí sugrú fear rád na bountain Líhan i chiadú ré lúte nocht a gainach fécha sin Anna chruinnis Gillihan agus scór braile.
Ja, den outpas a ruddig a bhain sin a seansanna time cinnte go bhéh sin a scórna agus binne an sin a rís ansaléir go bhfuil sé anna chrín. Ar a Doras Rivenclay hebíonn sé Jackar a gine teachta reis chun immer fifithe héin.
Anna chóngracht an dóibh líanach. Bhí cúpla deisian san na gén nuile mara de Huberdar na stuttar a cheann suach Hepper. Fachta má Caite sa chlathe ceathrú ceanna seo na Corcaig teis tasnú go maihansa agus trícín de faointí far a spáiricach seo Dwyer ceann sanna titim gar amach le náhinach ní sé teanga bháile sin geansan agus an tá dearag le Corcaig an son greibh Patrick go maithanaí ina rúiseocht níl an glanne sin thar móla berta mátá isteach a ge cornach a ríist well agus díreach leistigh den lína chuig véadra seaca atá John ó Dwyer an so Búilte isteach a drón chúlaige agus i gaiimsú na splice go deas an trosan. A ríist tá fáid díomhars na pocan na suntáile óna gaotha carú le Corcaig sa chéad le. Sinead Drake a ríiste táil an fear lá páirce thar a bheith néta agus í seolta thar sé drasnána ige an tarna painte.
An tarna painte feite ge siúd agus nuair a bhís sé síos bhí sé fannach leis an slitar sé fannach leis ansan or sin agus nuair a bheith éon rud amháin in aigna agus a rís scóiríontach an sin.
Se cuinig da meach sweetna man a haunta san bhechanna vertlar park ní hé go le caithh nuas ar Nicky Kelly how long go das noch sweetnam da meach sé fáil. Nis sé an brise facht ge Tipperary na ríist. Díanta go maith ge David Collins an lán tosaí fachtaí an vertlar park an san McCormack búilte fé dhéhanna sa ge ach crainir a hunsan agus an chéad ceann an immertacá.
Se an chéad ceann an immertacá agus ceann nó mé dé go le hinathe ach bhí an ceann san gas golóir. Rinne leid sin ó dhéobh a cairdeag an sin rinne Collins an obair crúan san.
Fágad amach a tiite méidir an lína lechúlagus an lína lán chúlagus gintecht an san fágant am agus spás a ggé Conor Lehan agus má dhéanaan tú sin is tú bheith híos leis.
Well, sin rud is fearr faoi Conor.
Boutas ní ag leis an pasta chuir a bheras plúcht agus na cosantóirí agus fachta ggé cealann sa chuirt aber bheith de chorca ggé dín ach sé críoch agus deirna martna bhfuil Dan McCormack a fearhfuirí ó luoch a techt amach leis an slitter stachan so grí mehar búilte féige mehar gan fiochan chun cíach mar a Hurling tá berta stig seo chun McGranis cosíocht deas siagarí John O'Dwyer agus fear las mugason Sean Kern búilte stacha ggé Kern de Har le Paul an lán cholaís de séintir agus an bhartíanta ggé sin léargus maithagus tá tosan.
Agad anna cóimmarta atartha agus deirí gloch faoiarra. Agus tá siad ag socrús teach sa cluthe beagán níos fearr ná faoi mar a hen sé réig.
Nís Lehan a rééis tetaisteach ar imrise. Búirteisteach a gcén son agus an spreáim sé rééis tá trí cínig Lehan. Pinnig go bheith éan máte ví a gansa sin stála manúdig de chorca agus ín sé siúd raic leis a gunne Heberdarn.
Se an dó tá gá ceann scóráilta níos ar an Lehan ar lé agus ceann amháin.
Gan éon deabhar ach an bhart déanta ggé sin trí cín ó go maith ggé brasanach an pas an eiscadí Lehan gan a bheith úntach. Deis ggé Heberdarn an ceantoch lana. Nis trúr ánach anach bháil ggé cefna an tunnadaí. Chuchan cín go agus á de leis go hála ggé Nicky Kelly. Stechansa, deisanta ggé Brasden. Teang a bháil lechaúteach a dhéon seansan agus Andrew Ryan ar a chúmpóir an lán chulaí ó thuimí bhera. Ach droch an ceart. Seansar bhaidanta ggé Colin sásta le pointe. Ach le cúpla neomta nuas cúpla drobhatúnta lína lán chulaí ggé Tipperary.
Se an dó
Mar park in the fórna Stapleton. Machchan sagad O'Dwyer lehecin de gech an fiochan na coilí an na chóngracht an goile yeisach dírach leistig do agus is leor son de faointe.
Se an céad ceann feiteag John O'Dwyer onimir turnis.
Se John O'Dwyer craibh na hens de manúr agus febhlíon is fethe búte ge hena hénig. Dennis Maher, tjúna chur Maher begáin beag níos lún am mar cheap mar beidir bhecha ge. Seoltach an cían san agus fachta go háling istig. Agus roiir a gúil an agus búilte gan éon strain fens béidir íon na marí an san ó hampel duirde.
Se deirí gleise an obair go léir dhéana bheith féin deirí gleise ar an gédal sios sellh áilir an slitar agus fechar sin mar bhuiile.
Gus Stapleton. Well, cosíocht idir an multóir.
Bhí brú.
Mar sin Jamie Collin chunin ceansa a thugann tá ráfuointe ggé hena féinnig agus sin é an tríú ceann.
Trí na chrín.
Mar sin bhar na ráfuointe i ggé Cork agansa ar nó barcí chuomh Coslí san tróna anna jaasar fad láthir na thuaire. Ní mar na bhí uirich le guile nó mar sin Stapleton in is chuir sé droicheann na múní á a hin ach sin ceann an bhad níos sa bhar. Agus de cuiidú séad an neomtaí nuas tá Stapleton a déanamh díomháil de Heberdarn.
Se agus tá sé ag obair bhad níos fearr dóibh agus mas rud a grabhann tá leis beach an dara cholíonn scóráilte ggé freisin mar chuir sé ceann gach peo cóiasca a mú cúpla nóméad ó hin.
Mar sin nó hocht de chorca gan sa chluithe seo gláidir rá cheann na mea. John Cronin chuir a bheithrú go maithan sanna ggé David Collins agus tá lánta sa í tiite anna de siar de Heberdarn le cúig na séad an neomtaí nuas trast na parkinsa. Lehan an sprucach dianta go maithe gan na chéile Corrigan san Willie Ryan. Daine tiitim chun talún ar fuidir bhílinn is. An bháisteach a déanamh díal an farc agus an drumclad fluchach dín Brasden. Góla má tóca ggé Brasden. Gemecht leis bhí sé lár na parc le fána hena gleanna go le ceanna sa chunta é ráibhlína hen sin ardrúir ar fada ggé Brasden steach go dí Colin a sé feidir chólach sárabard i gceist na cosantóirí an san á flúcha agus a cintiúna geoch sé spás.
Se an ó bhíonna na cosantóirí go hínta go bouta san beidir go éróigh nó scór áilir an taobhile.
Sean Curtin thuáilta go díalann sa treista í gháil go masanna agus an slóis ina meige gin action atá dul bheos. Dré mar a héimiid isteach sa chiad leise. Christopher Joyce fe bhrúacha ar leis chuirantá chá fada le Den Lomanio Character and the Vroy Gusite to get shoot. Dennis Mar the Hibberdornish, Curve Vrook Maga Cronin, Achmata, Ta Parayan and Sonagus Schlidian to get Pago Henig. Och Loinichene, and Nargerisha Korkuyach, Schnee, Beshu, Joyce to Benny Hech, Daniel O'Mahony and son of Jenna Goodilach.
Choramo and da have. Begach score a chest I read there in the Himmerhe.
Stephen Iano, Corsi Rovers, Martian Lish and Buckamach, Lehan and Sprocket. Lehan just tacht an old green Glihan shot. Agus er is yet tacht the Stachel in Lisha. Nicht has chances are calling last dig. Near of pass on to has chance force on the Cork top paint down the Cork on a Sullivan. Acherist, a couple of hands are cool. Mehlestra Cork.
Shagan over Tala Hansen a Crow, Kertgalor, Irrigator, she's Hanig Lehan, Stacher and Johnson, Agus Vishan, and Wa, Agus Derry Gleshan, and Tassa Holla, and Shin, Agus not a Visha, she is Fiona, Sullivan, Shin, Agus Derry Glesh, Cooley and all in the score. I'll go on topic. Don't fish a topic, Agus Kershar and Drasnan egg.
Take a hauling, get calling. Dennis Mahar, dear, get fluch, Agus he can tune a Goshe, Royer get a ghoul. Call and Nish, Trust in the Parkinson, Nicky Kelly, Marsbrook, Facht, go home to get Kelly Sanair. Well, nader neger goeder in Roen de Gelen, son Shachas in Yelle, ach talking the Corkregan Poxire.
If counts on Bogalore, Avrian. Feather Kangle, so was Biogan in the Kelen, Nidoilum, Gurv, Poxire Tiltige. Erenos.
Dan McCormick, the own and son Agus Hukun Latsha, Action Derrigan, Hied Lahansa. Pat Casey Trish, Trino, with Gully Gaulish.
Schutze Avrian.
Ní dá go leanna hrú déanta go Ken Hogan ná go Ger Fitzgerald an sá. Fiochan amach ar bart cinnte an Tipperary fé mar viidir. Déiminn Cahlan anna dhéanach a techt amach agus mar níl sé dá begin láta sa Jano Dwyer stigan éanar. Pat Casey tí an stitar a chaverstechan sa leabhar chuig de dul marsin. Nó go me hesagan ceúir a gaigur limnach a gluthe lechanis na mún fé bhíonas fithe. So gemortes orge board Gosh Energy Schultestach Ishel again McCormick Facht Geo Dwyer Nish Shashant er goed zich het nummet dan Turnela with a Nimmerka Winterka as a Gloshach Cha Fosaun mas vede Liam McGrath Echer Harrish Drastan a point show agus Tan Mädchen diente ach is kinte Grashe Katka Bard
and out closer on jazz on topic of Ion agus mas Rudiger even begun in this most splash a cost there a better go make on chance Derry Padraig O'Brien and Shin stop a hurlish or 5 seconds ago Shin and
Sherikeen for she Sichidla Agus Kaunele Captain in the forne Beheert na begin begelish in Gaunsa because he short is Dach gedacht is Dacher im Rische Fachten turn about the guest here and so greed Daniel O'Mahony Trust in the park guess you Lehan and Ishagus Galore Sposh Mas Felix and Ross of Wuchten, for the Hardiente get. Diente Gadasson and Dove Cornagal, Eraguli, Gillian, Tonelli Gear, Augustash down the Hon Talon, Achta Pox, Eristach, Brownton, son of Haneger, Clownishe, no, or Kurkoshefe.
Capus, oh, Honig and command Trasna, Air Cartgalor, was in Shin. Fish Slowno, again, Fish Dulcius, again.
Agus mar var gachtanas tá Harris Drasnan Trícín de bhearna a ríis down Anobard ag an lá tasíonn san nach rá magazínse Teach mí le bháidir ríis teach a ríis na Corcaig Kevin Kavanagh Gimmer go má ó hána séisteach mar unadí san nachtú neomant a cholam spelán Nis na Tipperary chuig viidir seascán gúil Trust in the park draw John O'Dwyer Skilláling Geo Dwyer agus sé héna joig Berta Kosovalach agus tá paint time to go Dwyer and son or double your fad they get Farchiel Noile
Shagan out rinne sean but ní rah an desin éascar chorbe agus bhí anmhaoin to get leis an piece of immersion agus Derry Glesh úmpó hebháin agus hebile agus an sin Derry Glesh an cooling
Hibberdorn agus Deering Selina lá tosa goríis mar go bhfuil búte glan an áí a Selina sin or tranhona
sin an áit na bhfuil na Jackreachtaí acu
Sin ort cheanna an a faointe go dóga Jamie Collin búte leis a bhíine
agus bhúla go crín
So una déile techtaisteach de Hibberdorn an son Ian Murray a fágan na parke agus stigan na áit tá Aidan McCormick ó bhuiríos ó Luach Nis ceann áirt deach drón chúil agus láistigh den gúile anna faointe fada sin agus ceann bhí tastáil go dúirtúas David Collins ea loch sé a ghaimsigh.
Ga ceanna chu siú tabs go níos agus bhfuil sé go tréine Art Gordon sin agus an bearna leid a ríis go deacratí an ón chéanna dó den cosantóirí agus nuair a bhíon daine cosúla Jamie agad chun sé a thógáil. Sinú is tábhachtí faoin géad bhóta a bhúchaint agus dul réigen sin beidir agus feos a chur.
Seoltas deach méle bháide ó Sullivan a ddírig gréime gáid an slitter ónna a golabú don dáhéamh tu an dá ihir a fethe héan chun parke go luach idir an dálín siar an sagadí Drake roicar na cúlíige agus benéon 3 pointe go fear charige lein chéad chuna chorca gin ónimir sa tanna le.
An dá timir deasa bhí ann agus deirí gló an chan sin a chruthúdó agus bhí sé san áid ceart ag an ón ceart agus fechar sin anachrín go deo an 3 cholíonn feitin sin aige.
Mar sin tá
Ceir a cholíonn idir na
sé cíige godí seo. Búilteaige tá sé hénig réúnta sásta agus dír a chair sé drasnáin is fermathe naon chun an sórtan dáin má tá siad chuna bhharta dhéanamh. Tá mí hefn is seo éire óg. Stecha John Chúil hágan treist athú dhéanamh bháinna séisteach. Cornan is siar an sagadí Dwyer agus pointe bog aige John O'Dwyer san obair bhaige cían hágan. Tá sé láidir asclach agus crathú deacreacht ístigh.
Sin an rud is fearr faoi beidir tá sé láidir mar dúir tuach tá sé ábhata silibh áil agus tá sé cruthú seansanna duna daoine timpeir.
Nis ceann mór grí fada seoltamach an son. Corca go córaach a cha Tipperary go cíocrach inis thóir a clitar. Planta Susan son de Tipperary anna gháil san air. Breicann sa ige Sean Corner na cúlaí agus sin anna féintir fada bhí díreach leistigh. Chá féinte bhrátha sa chéala go Tipperary.
Se agus cúlín an deasan sin ó Corner sin mar lechusí lár. Na Tipperary ag feosú beidir tána thunahead a beidir ag chur a bharc féin ar an gluthe. Tar éis dóibh teachtasteach bhí feos a teastáilúthe. Cúlín atarthe, cúlín amháin. Cúig nó méid fácha.
Stephen Nyan inis agus Nardin san ige óin muni óin a Sullivan eans den elis na hondathe tá takathe chun parke líhan inis stíl sa ahananta ige siú Drake lef locálta puirte mátá ige Cork agus Stigration san agus an gréim ciúrthéir a gomáin agus sin peinte anna háchtach go Johnson de Cork agus fachta istigan san ige Jamie Collin count the pointies táchta í nachtige.
Se Jamie anna bhahan seo sa darna le óna puchanna séire agus ó nimmert agus anna hionna chuige ar an nimmert an seo sa darna le.
As sin feirach log tríú má díireach le dul go déir na himmeran sa Drake ar éisteach chur a féhrú goma ige buach lí Tipperary droch lena ge Corcaig buite lá na parke I guess na Tipperary buite lína chuig féidir a seacatá David Collins agus tá an sprip aimsethe I guess siúd an son batún ige Corcaig agus an pointe I guess gan na géalaí córa.
Gan dát na scórna ag teach níos tuibh le cúpla nó méad nús ná mar a bhí le tamil agus tá is é gachtaí na níos go bhfuil nach bhfuil mór an fácha cúpla nó méad agus caiithí siad a níhil a dhéanamh chun a bhór chur thrán.
Nis Stephen Nyan. Tentag maigid Tipperary tá sé dulta bheosan san sa lín le chúil agus luar manta ge mar le cúcáltach Diarmaid Cahalán teach trastan de Chorcaig. Glanta suas fanna tréh lín ige. Gach stutter táchtach an istan dá uirin an sa. David Collins is stig a lá an éananig agus fós le bucht dach snappa leis de Chorcaig Geanna Sullivan nis spás leistig a ríist Andrew Ryan I dhéanamh cumachchan son de Tipperary agus agage féchan chun cín. Cronan na gairí nárdach a facht ge mar nis fíor sceoch táiste mar fes stechan sa dro Liam McGrath agus má bhón McGrath an count big anna gaisce dianta ge mar greibh sé go má leistír an son dá chéile córaach tá sé tucha leis ge McGrath agus féchastig Larsley. Chanson to get Tipperary nach Reach to Cossentori. Shinza Hofadler Dwyer, I can say shot to target John O'Dwyer. I guess Tommy there, Ho Harkins, I guess no but the machine at all.
I'll murder to Rinna Dwyer Gamach, Rinna McGrath, Anawa, Shelva Isler and Slitter and Gate Old Shears. So it's better to William Con Brescia, Horshak and Shabezer.
Go by the Rob Martian, John Cronin of Nisha Wilchananda and the Nisha Wuchtenbeck Horsefshe, Daniel with down Breshama, Hagen Shechagacht, Hannah Tiberdick Kriechno, Anna Lodge and Sa, Agus Reach, Todd Desh Crohe, and Sa Desh Scorala, Starad Zone, Hooligas, Ton Splickheimshe and Son. Again, Lahosi, Lord Sean Curtin, Agus Kaldre, Markriech, and Shaw get to the horn.
And now Tashi the Creek no Golider, Kegger, Efshin, Conderiger, Fag and Clihagalair, Captain. Tashi the Creek no Golider, Rackney Leonard, Hart Gafoil, have been in trio, Colleen, Fighting Shin, Ed Curran. The Gorishin and Counties Tavati, Kegger will got scored Tavati. Agus Paul Hackney and Tandir Teresh Chapter and Bark, so do the Green Cartagum.
Well, Ken Hogan, agus, well, Shanna Haas to go, Ma Woon should I Shashin, Rudder Harlagus, Shea Hackney, Vion Gudernach. After Boy Brunach and Son of Corkagan, Isher and Day Derrick, Sahla Shach, Shanson, and who called Gudo, no block all, the entrance under the Corkoya Hackney. Connolly Harnish take a lot and then I got she stapled and had tacht the Machleshach fuck on the Yowig. The guess shoot is Maran, and you shell of a shot Besha Kinuna, Grant to get Tipperary, Susan saw the Joy John Curtin. Gentle Ma get Dan Loman, Egus Corkaginish, you Descorala Krahu, Agus Tasha Fachton saw Stignish. They get called in the Volvine, come on, let's try to get Justin Carl the Heberdorn. Gemach Lesha Hummer the Geria, Agus Tom Clare Burta. They get Tipperary on the year of her family. Cork and Kane Fenatranona. Ach, the Krichten the Tubberding Eros and so. It's the Denium with the Dernach August Tasha or the Hello Kulla Paint. Clan Narvan for a bed like Clan of the Shakata.
John O'Dwyer got out to Rauniach Marlech na Himmer Hagus, Jar Cunningham and Shaw, Harkian Board Gosh Energy at Trace Lou Le John. John, congratulations. Having lost or looked like you were losing for 58 minutes, you suddenly dug this one out. Are you surprised, first of all, that you've come through?
No, I'm not surprised. The amount of work that we put into this was unbelievable. Since December, 6 months. And 3 years ago, we had the best game we've ever had down here in a minor championship against Cork as well. And that went to replay, and we came out on top of that as well. And thank God, we got the one score at the end to put us up, and we won the game.
There's been some drama in matches between these teams. It doesn't get much better than this, I'd say.
No, this wasn't a spectacular game. All it was just a slog. The ground was very bad. But two honest teams out there, and thank God we came out on top.
9 points, I think you got yourself, 3 from play, but I'm sure you'll say it was much more than just about you. It was a fantastic team performance.
All team performance. There's no individual in this team. Everyone works as hard as everybody. And thank God we got the result we deserved.
And it looked like for a long time that was going, but a couple of key switches, I think, helped you along the way again.
Look, we have a panel of 26 players, and we have another 2 or 3 lads injured. That's what it's all about. It's not a 15-man game anymore. It's about 20 players, the 5 lads that come off the bench to win it. And I think that's what won it for us in the end. And
nice having been on the receiving end last year to get one over in Cork.
Yeah, last year now it was a bit of a shock to us the way they came up and they blew us out with, so they did. We came down here and we knew it was going to be a tough battle, and thank God we won it.
All right, Limerick in a month, 6 weeks, I think, at this stage.
Yeah, we'll take it every week as it comes.
All right, Cogard, the Skermaga John O'Dwyer Marchenas on. Second one, just Ermi the Stachan Banishtor. Ken, you've had a few roller coaster rides with teams from Tip under 21 over the years. This is right up there.
Tremendous. Terrible conditions. People, I suppose, watching on the TV wouldn't realise, like, the game was just passed before throwing. Like, you know, people felt maybe they shouldn't go ahead, but it was a very honest game. Cork, you know, really, I suppose, deserved their favourite tag because they dominated the game for long spells, but we hung in there. You know, we kept pegging ahead. You know, we made a few switches, and you've got to change your team, you've got to freshen it up. And, you know, at the end of the day, I said to the lads at half-time, this is a dogged game. You know, it's not pretty. You know, it's not spectacular compared to the games we played, you know, for the last few years. But we hung in there, you know, 4 points down with 5 minutes to go, you know, and to get 5 in a row was fantastic. But tribute to the lads, you know, as I said to you beforehand, Micheál, very honest bunch of lads, very genuine guys, you know, and it's tremendous, you know, that at under 21 level, you know, you're promoting it so much. But having said that, like, you know, in my experience, under 21 hurling is fantastic, and the spirit that we showed tonight, you know, just brought us through.
Probably, Ken, is it fair to say that when you come into matches like this, you don't actually know what you have? So maybe you're a bit more informed as to how good this team could be yet.
Well, I suppose at the end of the day, it's only a quarter final. You know, we're in a semi-final against the Munster champions, Limerick. I think Limerick have 14 of last year's team, you know, and, you know, tremendous hurlers playing senior championship hurling. That's another step for us. A lot of these guys, you know, have club championship games coming up, you know, and they're involved in a lot of competitions. And Sean Curran, obviously, is a senior panel member. So he's, you know, we had him just for the last week, you know, but he finished so well there, you know, and showed the leadership that was required. But above all, you know, we have 24 fantastic guys. You know, I must pay a tribute like to Rory Gleeson and Thomas Butler there. They brought injuries, Paddy Heffernan, you know. They were on the sideline on crutches with injuries, you know, and Pat Malloy at home who broke his collarbone. These are the guys, you know, that really you've got to think of tonight, because the lads here got the opportunity to play, and the greatest thing in the world is to go out and play the game, you know. And touch wood, you know, we'll have a stronger and even stronger squad next day.
I was looking at the foul count, and you fouled less than Cork. I suppose that was key, wasn't it? Because when you consider the conditions, Jamie Collin was popping them over. To have a bit of controlled aggression, and you showed plenty of that in the second half, was crucial, I think.
Well, that's the word, you know, you have got to be controlled, particularly from the point of view of, you know, when you're going to the ball, if you touch a fella in the back, you know. But I thought the referee was very sensible. I think nobody could point to any fingers at the official, because I thought he was excellent. He was very sensible in the way he approached the game, and he let the game flow as well as he could. But thankfully the rain stayed off, which made the game in the second half, you know, a little bit more free-flowing. And thankfully in the conditions, you know, that our work, you know, since the 1st of March stood to us.
You must be delighted now. You have 6 weeks to prepare now for Limerick.
6 weeks to prepare. Again, our hearts are in their mouth, because obviously the lads go back to their clubs, and they're tremendous club men. And I always say to the guys, you must give everything for your club. You must show form with your club, you know. And we had guys that went out and played with their club this weekend, played football championship and played hurling championship, and yet came in again on Saturday morning, you know, stiff, sore, but ready to play again for this big game. I think, you know, coming down to Cork, you know, it's a fantastic feeling anytime you come away with a victory. And, you know, Cork like playing in Thurles, but we were the standard bearers. We were the first team down to Cork, you know, in this month of June, and hopefully it'll be a great month for sport.
All right, Gorilla Margaret, Ken, Slartling and Sugus, Ganai Latic. Ger, we're just watching a couple of tip scores there towards the end of the game. You must be devastated. You must be surprised, I suppose, in the way that you let that lead that you had for so long slip.
Oh, we're disappointed with our finish. We seemed to run out of energy with about 10 minutes to go. We couldn't get a hold of the ball and slow the thing down a little. They got a bit of a run on us. They took very, very good scores. We just have to acknowledge that they were sharper, particularly in the last 10 minutes when the game was in the melting pot. We were probably a bit naive. We couldn't get on the ball. We couldn't slow the ball down. We couldn't get control of the possession in our half forward line, and it just ran away from us. And we are very, very disappointed. There's a lot of young men in there now who are very, very disappointed, particularly being in a winning position. But that sport, this game, you got to close it out to get the results, and we didn't do that. And credit to Tipperary.
They seem to have just a little bit more economy maybe in their play. They didn't. Maybe you did an awful lot of running, and maybe the last 10 minutes was a tiredness that cost you ultimately.
Yeah, we worked very, very hard. The conditions were the same for them as for us, so we can't really blame that. But certainly we seemed to lose a bit of zip. We made a few adjustments, and we probably got very little return from them. I think they got a better return from their replacements. They seemed to threaten more from less possession than we had, really. But that's just the nature of it. That's the way the game goes. You got to take your scores when the opportunities are there. You got to get your returns when you're in possession of the ball, and we didn't do that enough in the end. And we sort of suffered for it, and we just have to man up now and accept that.
All right, Garmaga does talk on Lartling. Okay, Garmila Maga.